Oasis Audio presents The Nancy Drew Diaries Number 5, Sabotage at Willow Woods by Carolyn Keene. Read for you by Jorjeana Marie. Dear Diary, I think George's cousin Carrie Kim has gotten way more than she bargained for with her city council campaign. Bess, George, and I are really worried. She thought her platform of building a new sports field and complex would be a slam dunk, but it turns out some people are really upset. Now that someone is threatening her, I know it's up to me to solve this case, even if that means going undercover at a different high school. I should probably go brush up on my environmental knowledge if I'm ever going to be believable as a member of the Green Club. Chapter 1. The Wrong Message. Ooh, another cotton candy seller. My best friend Bess leaned back and craned her neck, pointing down the sidewalk to a middle-aged man surrounded by wispy puffs of yellow and blue, the Boylestown Raiders colors. We were attending a parade and block party to celebrate Boylestown's football team winning the state championship. Bess, her cousin George, and I all went to a rival school, River Heights High, so why were we celebrating with the competition? Well, George's cousin Carrie Kim had decided to run for Boylestown's town council, and she was making her first big speech at the block party. We all wanted to be there to show our support. I don't need another cotton candy, George, who was my other best friend, muttered with a frown. I'll puke. Bess turned back and shot George an annoyed glance. Bess is as blonde, curvy, and lively as George is dark, petite, and serious. Over the years, I've become very good at refereeing their arguments. I held up a hand. Now, ladies, you don't need to be such a grump. Bess frowned at George and looked down the street to where a parade would be starting any minute. I'm not being a grump, George sighed, following Bess's gaze to where the Boylestown High School band was getting into formation. I think it's great that the Boylestown football team won the state championship, and I think it's great that the town is coming together to give them this parade. I cocked an eyebrow. I knew what was coming next. But... George looked flustered. But, she repeated, shrugging, I just wish towns like this would pay the same kind of attention to other accomplishments. I smiled sympathetically. I knew that George was speaking from her own experience as a non-athlete. Non-sports-related accomplishments, Bess filled in and then shook her head. I could tell she'd heard this argument before. One of the drummers in the marching band banged her drum, and we all looked over to see the band members begin marching in place. The parade was starting. The band began playing, and I could feel my heart beating in time with the thump, thump, thump of the drum. What is it about fight songs? They were playing Boylestown Highs, and even though I never went to school there, it still made me want to jump up and down and cheer. As the band marched past us, I saw George straighten up and begin cheering. I knew my friend was really excited about the football team's win deep down. I cheered too, clapping along to the beat of the song. The crowd suddenly erupted in hooting and applause, and I turned to see that the football players themselves were behind the band, each wearing his uniform and carrying his helmet in his hands. Bess stuck her fingers in her mouth and let out her famous brain-melting whistle. George rolled her eyes and rubbed her temples, but notably didn't tell her cousin to stop. The Boylestown cheerleaders followed the players, but after them,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?